a story that some 5,000 Armenian men are still hiding in this mountainous area. It is said that they descend occasionally and raid Turkish villages to capture the women, later to convert them to Christianity. Even now, the Turks call the area the Mountains of the Gavur, the infidel, a term often reserved for the Armenians. Eastern Turkey is a backward region. The usual conveniences of travel cannot be found here. The roadside cafes, however, are charming and the food is very good. But you take your chances with the water. Aintab, one of the cities of Cilicia, was at one time an important center of American missionary activity and of Armenian Protestantism. In this area, Turkish oppression became so severe that most Armenians were forced to speak Turkish. There are no Armenians in Aintab now. In the interior of Turkey today, there are less than 5,000 Christian Armenians. 60 years ago, there were almost 3 million. Turkish faces show curiosity about the strangers. Possibly some of these are descendants of Armenian mothers forced into Turkish harems during the great massacres. The Protestant church of Aintab is still intact. It is now used as a Turkish storehouse. Harpert would have become the major crossroads of ancient Armenia if the regions of Greater and Lesser Armenia had ever become united. Harpert stands in a fertile valley along trade routes between east and west. Many conquerors have passed through here. At one time, the Roman legions marched along the Euphrates carrying the true cross. Before the First World War, Harpert was surrounded by over 300 Armenian villages. Upper Harpert, or Veritah, stands on an immense ridge above present-day Elazig, often called Mezra. On these heights, the Armenians built a thriving city. In the cleft of the rocks, they constructed their homes and their places of worship. The church of Surp Garabed, built in the 4th century, remains virtually the only standing structure. Some of the ancient ruins predate the Roman period. From this fortress, or Pert, the city took its name. Only rocks remain. The children of Armenia have vanished. The 40,000 Christians of Harpert are gone. Less than 100 of them remain below in Mezra. Once these hill slopes were terraced with abundant gardens. After the last massacres, the Turks tore down the walls in search of treasures. The once renowned Euphrates College in Veritah has been totally leveled to the ground. The ruins are part of the lost dream to make Harpert the intellectual capital of the Armenian plateau. To reach Bitlis, a distance of one day's automobile travel from Harperk, we will pass through fertile agricultural regions. Bitlis was once an Armenian stronghold. The only trace of Christian Armenians today is a rumor that there are 40 living in a nearby village. Yet, some 10,000 former Armenians and descendants live here who escaped the genocide of 1915. They changed their religion to Islam, but most now want to return to Christianity. The Cathedral of Akhtamar is one of the remaining architectural gems of the Armenian people. It stands intact on a tiny island 2 miles off the southern shores of Lake Van. Akhtamar is reached only by boat. Because of its isolation, Akhtamar has remained free of major vandalism. Up the slopes of a steep island, the 40 Armenian Americans are on a pilgrimage to an ancient shrine. They retrace the steps of their forefathers in search of a lost civilization. Who were the architects and the builders of this monument to the Christian faith? Akhtamar was built in the 10th century during the reign of King Kakig. After the fall of Ani, it served for a period as the seat of the Catholicos of the Armenians. Akhtamar is perhaps the finest single remaining architectural triumph of the Armenian people in Turkey. The Turks themselves recognize the value of the cathedral. In their travel folders, Akhtamar is advertised as a Turkish archaeological site. Its Armenian origin is totally denied. Akhtamar is but one further example of the obliteration of all evidence of Armenian habitation on these remote highlands. The cathedral is built of pink sandstone with walls 3 feet thick. The animal finials and gargoyles carved on the exterior walls appear as forerunners of Gothic architecture. After the fall of Ani, the Armenian forefathers fled to this remote sanctuary. Within these sacred walls, they prayed for the deliverance of their people.